Marblehead, Massachusetts. I'm Sail Magazine's managing editor, Lydia Mullan, and with me is Rob Bova, three-time Marblehead Halifax Race winner. And we're here at the start of the 2025 race. This is the 40th edition of this race, and we are seeing some great conditions today. We're really excited to get underway. The first start is rolling right now. The boats are in their preparation for that signal, so we should see some action happening soon.
Yes, great weather compared to 2 years ago. A lot nicer. Yeah, like Lydia just said, the race should be getting underway in a few minutes for the first class to go off. They'll head towards the first mark is in towards Marblehead Neck, and they'll round the buoy. It's about 1.5 miles. They'll round, keeping the buoy to port, and about another 1.5 miles to another drop mark, and leave that to port, and then off to Halifax.
And that course really gives a chance for folks on shore to see these boats as they come by. They're just so gorgeous. There's so many of them out here today. We have 45 boats getting underway. And so it gives a chance for friends and family to see them from shore, have a chance for everyone to spectate. This first start that we're seeing start to play out here is a combined PHRF cruising class and cruising spinnaker class. So there's a lot of different types of boats that we're going to see out there. If you take a look, we've got some 2 masts, some single masts, a lot of really, really gorgeous sailboats. So,
yeah, the conditions can't be any better. We have a southwesterly breeze, yep. So they'll be pretty much close haul to the first mark. But like I said, the first race, we have boats. We have a Lyman Morris, Sigwin 49, Inner Sharon, Swan 44, Stormy Weather. Legacy 5, which is an Alden 54 catch. And we have Northeast Wind, Hinkley. And then Ticonderoga of Greenwich, a classic yawl who won this race back in 1947. And then Arian, which is a Bermuda 40, which I believe is a double-handed.
Yes, they're
this year.
Double-handed boat, one of the few double-handed boats this year. There's not enough for an entire double-handed division, but some brave souls are still taking on this course with just 2 people aboard the boat. So that's going to be some feisty racing out there for them, but they'll have a great time. Yeah. This next class is going to be our second start, the PHRF racing class. And this division has 4 boats in it. We've got Airborne 4, which is skippered by William Greenwoods, who's done 20 Marblehead Halifax races. So he is a seasoned race veteran. We've also in this class got Charlotte, a J120, Esplanade, a Morris Robinson 51, and Good Friday, a Canadian CNC 32, which is actually the smallest boat in the race this year.
You motor forward and keep pace with them. Yeah, stay on time. Go, okay, got it. We're gonna go.
They are just coming off the line now. This is an exciting start. Look how close these boats are as they're coming through. Not too much yelling from the boats. You can hear they're yelling room, room to make sure they can get around cleanly. But otherwise, it seems like a pretty Corinthian spirit between these 2 boats, even though they are tight here and battling for space on the line.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it was definitely Hin and favored to kind of be close haul, maybe even a close reach to the first mark. And yeah, so good start by all. And yeah, 361-mile race.
So they
won't win it at the start, but you could lose it at the start.
It's true, and especially if you're breaking anything early in the race, you don't want to get into any drama at this stage because you've got so far to go that any little thing that goes wrong now aboard the boat really could have massive repercussions in terms of boat speed down the line, particularly if it impacts your sail trim. So these boats, especially in offshore racing, these boats' biggest job is just to keep the boat healthy in the beginning, get off the line cleanly so that they can go on to have a good race. this race course that you're seeing them take off on, they're heading back towards shore, and they have 2 rounding marks that are going to keep them close along the shore, which is going to be a really good opportunity to spectate for family and friends. If you can't get out on a boat to watch from the water, you can watch it from the shore.
They'll leave that first mark to their port side, left side, and then reach for about another 1.5 miles to the second mark before turning that and heading off to Halifax.
Our next class up is ORR4. We've got a bigger class here. This class includes Abigail, a 39-foot Alden, built in 1956, making it one of the older boats in this fleet. This boat attempted the Marblehead Halifax in 2023. They were finished at Brazil Rock, which means that they didn't quite make it all the way there, but were finished per the race rules. And they had a little bit of trouble getting the rest of the way to Halifax. So we're wishing them better luck this time around. We also have Allegiant, a J42 in this fleet. Rob, I understand you and Allegiant know each other pretty well?
Yeah, so in 2023, I was on board Ursa, an Express 37 out of Jubilee Yacht Club, and pretty much the whole way up from the start of the race right to the finish line, it was Ursa and Allegiant neck and neck, crossing tacks like we're racing in the bay, and it was some great competition, very well sailed boat. They sail out of the, I believe it's the Eastport Yacht Club. And
you guys ended up winning that race, right?
We ended up, Allegiant ended up, they were first to finish in the PHRF division. And we corrected over them by, I think maybe it might have been 4 or 5 minutes, but in any case, we ended up
competitive boat. Next up, we have Blue Skies, an Alden Sky 50. They've got 10 crew aboard, including their skipper, William Gunter, who has raced the Marblehead Halifax over 10 times. So another very experienced crew aboard Blue Skies, and it's just a gorgeous boat. We also have Dragonfire, a J99. This is a Canadian team with the Apple family making up most of the crew. It's really cool to see a family that races together. I know they have one other crew member, Adam Glenn, but otherwise it's a family boat. So very cool program there.
You can see here, it just the starting gun has gone off in it's like half a day. Definitely got the pin end, like a lot of boats are shooting for, but they're out front, got clean air, and half a day is a local boat out of Marblehead Yacht Club. Owner skipper Elliot Shannonbrook, and on board is his son Reed, who they've done a lot of double handing together, and I know Fletcher, also a member of BYC, is on board, and definitely a tough competitor.
Next up, we've got Hall Pass, a Freres 36. This is their second Marblehead Halifax, and a number of members of the Thompson family are on board. So another family boat in this fleet.
Yes, and we also have another J109 source in a Boston Yacht Club boat owned by Brian Barmer. And this, I believe, is his first Halifax race on this boat. And, so it's a very, very competitive fleet. The ratings are fairly close, so it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. They should have some nice breeze that they hopefully can hold up to Halifax.
We've also got in this fleet Sassafras, a Canadian Swan 47 Mark II. They're an Ontario-based crew, so they're not quite heading home after this race, but should be back in the general direction of home for them, heading back to Canadian territory. And finally, we've got the Rover, a Swan 44 Mark II, which is from all over the place, including 2 Canadian sailors, but it's really a big mix in terms of where the crew from that boat is from. So cool for them to get to come together and do this race. Our fourth start is going to be ORR3, which is a really interesting mix of boats. We're starting to get into the more competitive boats here. So some of these guys are really, really fast out there. Our first boat on the start is going to be a Nova Scotia-based J133 called Bella J. We've also got Blitzen, a J130. which has a Massachusetts and New York-based crew and 4 members of the Stork family, plus some of their friends. This is their second Marblehead Halifax race. We've also got Dragonfly, a Canadian J130. Extra Mile is also in this class, a first 44.7. This is their first Marblehead Halifax race. Fast Company 3, another US-based, New England specifically based, J133. So there's a lot of similarly sized boats in this class. You can look at the fleet. It's a pretty competitive, pretty sporty looking fleet of boats. We've also got Hard 8 in this fleet, a Canadian Trip 41 with a crew of 8. Sort of a mix of nationalities on board, both Americans and Canadians. And that's one of the beautiful things about this race. Starting in one country, finishing in the other, you've got a lot of sailors from both nationalities doing the race. You can see that in the sail numbers, lots of Canadian flagged boats out there. In this class, we've also got Jane, a Canadian J120. This is their first Marblehead Halifax. Behind me, you can really see a lot of drama here at the start. These boats are trying to push each other over. They're trying to get in a little bit of a scuffle for that best starting position. I don't know that the drama is really worth it in a race this long, but there are certainly some upset sailors out there right now. You can hear a little bit of yelling, a little bit of shouting back and forth, some rules being called out. So these guys are gonna have to try their start again, flip around and head back out there.
Yeah, it looks like Extra Mile here is the Beneteau 44.7 got squeezed out by Blitzen at the start. They tried to squeeze in between the pin and the boat. Blitzen didn't have anything to do with it. It squeezed them right out. So they're turning around.
Bad luck for them, but they got
right now
a lot of miles to go to make up for it. So this is not the end of their race for sure. We also in this fleet have Orion, a J122 with a crew based in Scituate, Massachusetts, so another fairly local boat. We've also got Rampage, a FAR 395, which is a Canadian team. Rob, can you tell us a little bit about the history of Rampage?
Yeah, so Rampage holds Scheherazade, which was based in Boston, and was pretty much a dominating force in the New England area. Very well run campaign while it was here in Boston, and I'm sure the Canadians are carrying on that competitive tradition. But yeah, it's a 539.5.
A very competitive boat. Also in this class, we've got Wild Blue, a J122. This is a Maine-based crew, so another local-ish team, another New England-based team. And then finally, we've got Zigzag, a J122. With a crew that's based in 7 different states, so a really disparate crew there. Zigzag is an extraordinarily competitive boat. We used to race against them when I was crewing on the J122 Alliance, and they were incredibly fast. They have an incredibly well-tuned boat, a lot of great sailors on board. So looking forward to a good race from them. I'm sure they will do well, and I'm sure I've jinxed it now that I've said that. But this fleet we're getting to the more competitive boats here. A little bit more speed probably from this ORR3 fleet. Our next start is the penultimate start, ORR2. And this is a pretty big class. We've got 10 boats racing in ORR2. So they are going to be circling the line. It's going to be a little bit more chaos because there are just more boats that need to get across. And they will be probably bunching up at that pin end, again, because that is the favorite side of the line. So it's going to be a pretty competitive section there. We've got Blackwatch, a custom yawl with 13 crew aboard in this fleet. Also Crazy Horse, a Baltic 50. And Crazy Horse is a youth offshore team from New Bedford, Massachusetts. So a really cool program there. We've also got Lynx and IMX 45, Nanook and Arcona 465. And that is a sorry. We've got Nanook and Arcona 465 with a crew of 9, sailed by Glenn and Rebecca based out of Doncaster, or Glenn and Rebecca Doncaster of North Carolina. These are Marblehead Halifax vets. They have done 6 editions of this race on various versions of Nanook. And the rest of the crew is primarily Virginia based. Also in this fleet, we've got a few Class 40s. We've got Privateer, which is hull number 102 for Class 40s. I've actually sailed aboard Class 40 with a previous owner. It's a very competitive boat, very cool program, doing a lot of cool things out there. Very, very fast boats. We can expect good things from them. We've also got Oak Cliff Blue, a FAR 40 in this fleet. Oak Cliff, of course, is a youth sailing program, a really competitive training program based out of New York. So they bring some really competitive boats to these offshore races on the East Coast. We've also got Overdraft, another FAR 40. And Rob, you spoke with some of the Overdraft crew before the start of this race, right?
Yeah, I did it last night at the BYC, and two brothers here, James and Jack Argogan, and Canadian-based, probably the youngest in their 20s, and it's great to see the youth out here sailing these boats. They successfully campaigned at Henderson 30 back home, and we're looking for something bigger to do some more offshore sailing. And then they came across this FAR 40 Turbo, and they did a lot of modifications. And very excited to be here, and definitely a boat to
keep an eye on.
keep an eye on. Yes.
We've got Revolution, a Swan 42, Rum Runner, a Neo 430, and Scowling Dragon, another Class 40 in this race. So if you know anything about these model types, some really fast boats, in the conditions we're expecting to see, Rob, how do you think the ORR boats are going to do in this race?
Yeah, I think the...
Sorry, right behind you here, we've got these boats coming off the line. Really, really fabulous to see them all grouped together. It's just so cool to watch, isn't it?
It is, and we got 42, and I believe that is sail number. That's Revolution here, the Swan Club Swan 42. Got great start, clean air.
We've also got
which
Rum
is
Runner,
what you're looking at.
that Neo 430 with a good start, but they're a little bit covered. They're probably going to get rolled, but great start from them. Just hope they can keep it and stay in the breeze.
Yeah.
We also got Privateer 102 here. It's a pretty good start. We've got Lynx coming off the line, Oak Cliff Blue following right around the pin. A little bit of a late start, but they are high up on the breeze, so they've got clean air at least and can probably get out of there okay. Sorry, Rob, I interrupted you on how we expect these boats to fare.
Oh yeah, no problem, Lydia. This is yeah. So these Class 40s, we got two of them in the class. Scowling Dragon and Privateer, and with the southwesterlies sticking around for a couple of days, and if the breeze stays up, these boats off the wind are rocket ships.
And that Class 40, you can
could
see
be
Privateer to the right of your screen there with the orange square top mainsail. The two Class 40s, I believe, are the only two square top boats in this entire race. So those mainsails with the flat top, easy to spot the Class 40. We've got Privateer right there, and then a little ways behind them, Scowling Dragon looks like they were a bit late to the start, but they are still doing well, and it's such a speedy boat. I mean, this race is so long. A bad start is not a make or break thing for these guys. A lot of miles left to go before Halifax. Way on the distance here, you can see these first boats from the Cruising Spinnaker and PHRF cruising classes are rounding that second mark. They are off to Halifax. That is a straightaway course. They are headed to the east, and they're not stopping till they make it to the bottom south corner of Nova Scotia. Looks like the forecast is going to be pretty good conditions for them. They're going to be doing some deep reaching for the first couple of days, and they've got plenty of breeze, 15 to 20 knots probably for the first 24 to 48 hours. Let's get a little weirder after that. There's a low pressure system that's going to breeze down through the Gulf of Maine and leave a pretty empty dead zone behind it where things are going to be a bit swirly, a bit light for them. So the faster boats might have an easier time getting through there, and the boats that don't make it to Halifax before Wednesday might have a really tough time at the very end of their race. But we've got plenty more starts to go. We've actually got one left with 5 boats in it. That's ORR 1, and this is going to be the faster boats in this race. These are super sporty boats. One of the boats in this class is extraordinarily likely to take line honors, meaning they will cross the line first. Other boats might correct below them to win the race, but these boats are probably going to make it to Halifax first. You can just take a look at this fleet and see how aggressive they are. Some really, really big boats. It's probably hard to get perspective when all of the big boats are lined up next to each other, but in person you can see just how massive these boats are. We've got those 5 boats are Boudica, a Reichel Pude 66 with 13 crew on board. We've also got Dream Crusher, Kernan 47 with 11 crew on board. So you can tell these crews are just much bigger on these bigger boats. 47 foot, similar, comparable to other fleets, but I've also got Oak Cliff's Redwood, which is a Care 50. They've got 11 crew on board, and the boat is captained by Stuart Grinnell. We've also got Wahoo, a Care 50. Rob, what can you tell us about Wahoo?
Wahoo's it's a U.S. Naval Academy vessel. It's the only U.S. Naval Academy boat in the race, and yeah, so it's a Care 50, well sailed, a lot of cadets on board, and yeah. So out of these 5 boats, more than likely one is going to get line honors.
We've also got, sorry to interrupt, you've got Temptation is the last of those 5 boats. Temptation is a JV 66 with 20 crew on board. This is a massive crew, but included amongst them are Gary Jobson and Don Riley. We've got some real drama at the start here. They're just about to round that pin end, and Wahoo is squeezing in. Boudica has no space to go. These boats are so tight together, absolutely incredible. You can hear the yelling between them. Nobody has quite as much space as they like, but this is a truly fabulous start. What a competitive start for this ORR1 fleet. And then of course, you've got Boudica coming in a little bit later, but Redwood coming in a little bit later, a very safe start for them. No drama, they are getting out cleanly, and I think I'd rather take the low drama but slightly later start over all the yelling in the first if it were up to me. Can you tell us a little bit about Temptation, Rob?
Yeah, Temptation is a Uli Volek boat, and we've Gary Jobson on board, Don Riley, so definitely got some heavy hitters on board, and definitely up there for line honors. It was quite an exciting start between Wahoo, Boudica, and Temptation. God, right at the pin end and inches between them. We got Redwood here kind of taking up the rear of this class, but not too far behind. And Redwood, they were in our class last week when we raced the Marion to Bermuda race. And they ended up taking a second in that, and so yeah, very well sailed boats. When you get up into this these type of designs, it's going to be an exciting race up to Halifax.
You can see these guys on the rail. They're really trying to keep the boat flat. The wind today isn't so strong that it's too challenging, but they're trying to get every inch they can at this stage in the game, because when the boats are so close together, you feel that competitiveness. You really don't want to lose even a quarter mile on any other boat, but you can see them because you just have this competitive sense when the other boats are close together. Once they're a little bit farther apart, maybe not so close on the horizon to each other, you can sail your own race, but right now everybody's really fighting for every inch with each other. Here we can see these ORR1 and ORR2 boats coming in on that second turning mark before they head all the way out to Halifax. Rob, what are the conditions like over here?
Yeah, distance seems to, the wind seems to be out of the southwest, and the first rounding mark, nobody had a problem making it. It was pretty much a close haul, maybe even a close reach for some of them. That's why they favored the left side of the starting line. But you can see as they rounded the first mark on their way to the second mark before turning to Halifax, it was pretty much dead up wind, and
you can see some tacks coming in here.
Yeah, forced most of the boats to need to tack to make the second mark, and before setting the spinnaker.
As we get closer to that mark, we can see people getting set to put the kites up. Some of these boats are setting up their gear. We see some halyards going up.
Overdraft.
Things are busy on board, and we'll turn in just a second so you can sort of see down the course and those spinnakers as they go up, because it's really a phenomenal sight. But this spinnaker hoist is one of those intense moments on board where everyone's scrambling to get it to go up right. We've seen a couple fumbled spinnaker hoists so far where the kites have been a little scrambled with some hourglasses, some trouble getting socks off. But that was a gorgeous hoist you saw just there. We've got another one coming up. Looks like maybe they're getting ready to pull it free. Hopefully no drama on board there. But these spinnakers are really just one of the biggest treats of watching a start like this, because they're so gorgeous and so many of them are bright colors. And then of course this boat, those classic white sails, really a classic boat. A beautiful rounding here.
You can see overdraft right here. Once they popped that chute, they really accelerated. And for most of these boats, this might be the only sail they fly all the way to Halifax. The conditions stay.
Yeah, it's looking like pretty stable conditions for the first while of this race, and they'll be on these nice deep reaches, which are actually pretty comfortable angles to sail on board because they're not going to be slamming into any crazy conditions. One thing they are going to have to worry out from a navigational standpoint are the tides as they get close to Cape Sable. As they reach land on the south side of Nova Scotia, there are these really, really intense currents that just sweep around Cape Sable. And so based on the timing of when they're coming in there, they're going to have to be really, really careful not to get sucked in. And actually, in previous races, we've seen people throwing out anchors to avoid getting pulled into the Bay of Fundy. So it's pretty intense on the navigators in this race. But right now, the kites are going up. Those kites will probably stay up for a long time because these are just some gorgeous conditions that we have out there.
Some of the OR1 boats are just this Temptation right behind us. They have blue hull, white spinnaker. And Boudica just popping their chute now, with the blue stripe down the center. So these are the fastest boats.
Fastest boats out.
Probably, definitely one of them is going to take line honors. But yeah, no, it's ideal conditions for it, and the starts were pretty exciting. Didn't see any protest flags going up, so that's always a relief, especially for race committee. So there you have it.
It's been an absolute gorgeous day for the start of this race. Beautiful conditions out to Halifax. I'm Lydia, this is Rob, and we've been so excited to be here at the start of the race, walking you through what's going on out here. We will see these boats next on the docks in Halifax, so best of luck to everyone sailing the race this year.